Hello everyone, welcome to Ajiro Tech. Ajiro Tech. In this video, we're going to be looking at the Cambridge IGCSE Information and Communication Technology with the course code 0417. And we're looking at the third variant of this paper, 1-3, right? Paper 1, theory, okay? The paper 1 is the theory part, May, June 2024, and the duration for the whole paper is 1 hour 30 minutes. Okay, so please let's take note of this. Please, the instructions are very important. But before we do that, let me just be a good student and then write in my name under the candidate name section. So you know that, yes, my center number is going to be what we have been using in this YouTube channel. And if you have not subscribed, please do that. My candidate number is 2024. Please, the instructions are very important. So please go through the instructions, okay? Total mark for this paper is 80. All right. Question 1. Circle two solid state storage devices. Now, when we talk about the solid state devices, now you see this in chapter 3, okay? Chapter 3, storage devices, okay? And media. That's where you see it. Storage devices and media, okay? Now, for the storage devices, we have what we call this right here is a mechanical device that carries out the physical action, so it's not an actuator, and this is not a cloud. And I want to assume that this means cloud computing and not like the real cloud, right? When we store data to remote servers, so it's not this. CD-ROM, this is optical, so it's not this. DVD is optical, so it's not this. This is magnetic, so it's not this. Pen drive, yes, we have a pen drive as solid state device. Sensor is an input, so it's not this. And we have the SSD, okay? So this is very, very important. Now, you will see this here in chapter 3. So it's not going to look like, and this is the beauty really about Ajiro Tech, because we don't just solve a past paper, we also teach you, okay? So you see it here. Scroll down to the solid state. Good. So now you see that we have the solid state, right, which has made computing to be more thinner, right, and faster, okay, and even lighter. And then we have the pen drive, which are small portable devices that make use of the solid state technology. All right? Okay. Question 2. Complete each of the following sentences about web development layer. Okay, so this is chapter 21, website authoring. Okay, so we have the first part. The layer used to create the structure of a web page is what we call the content layer. Okay, now I'm going to show you this. And you see that in the very first part of the website authoring, the very first part of it. Right here. So you can see that for the content layer, this is where the content of the web page are placed for the presentation, and also it has the page structure such as what? Your frames, tables, and your hyperlinks. Okay, for the presentation layer, what are we having? This is the visual impact. Okay, the visual impact of the web page, right, is created, and it also contains the styles. And then we have the behavior layer, right, is where all actions such as controlling elements, except the hyperlinks, are created. So we can see that they create using scripting language like a JavaScript. Okay. For presentation, we also see them. Okay. For your content, we see the content layer as it can also be seen, okay, as a structure layer. Okay. So please take note of that. Okay. For the behavior, you can also see it as scripting. Presentation, maybe you can see it as styles. Okay. So, all right. Hope that makes sense. The layer used to display and format element within a web page is called what? The presentation. Okay. The layer that is a scripting language to control element within a web page is what? Behavior. Okay. Question 3. A student is able to access a secure area of the school website using zero login. Explain what is meant by zero login. Now, when we talk about zero login, this is where you don't have to put in any form of password. And I will show you here from the textbook. Okay? Show you here from the textbook so you can actually see this yourself. Okay, if it's not here, it's going to be in chapter 4. Okay, it's going to be in chapter 4. Okay, so it's going to be in chapter 4. Okay, let me get it for you. So I want you to see where you can actually find it. It is being talked about here, but so you can actually see where you can. These are data threads. You see it under protection of data, but if it's not here. Okay, so let's go to chapter 4. Yes, chapter 4. Yes, other authentication methods. Okay, so we'll see this in chapter 4. So this is zero login and biometrics. I want you to be sure. Okay, so when we talk about this here, okay, so we can see this for the fact that login essentially relies on device being smart and secure enough to instantly recognize a user by numbers of features based on what? Biometrics. Okay? Instead of based on what? Biometrics. So the whole idea is that you are able to what? Log into the system without the need to type in a password. Okay? So I'm just going to go with this, that this is chapter 4. Okay? Networks and the effects of using them. Okay? Networks and the effects of using them. I want to be sure. Okay, so it has a period, it's fine. Okay, so now let's talk about them. So this is 2 marks. So one is what it is. Let's start with the first one. You can see other authentication methods. Okay, apart from username and password, there are other authentication methods. So you can now see that there are what method of what authentication. There are methods of what authentication. So that's what I'm going with. The first one, it is and what authentication authentication what method, right? The next one is it requires, look at it, and I'm going to use this, that allows user to log in without need to type in the password. Ability to log in, okay, to a computer system without typing a password, or without the need to type in a password. Okay, so we also have others. So for others here, we can see that, like I said, it requires no manual input from user. It can be able to pass through security information from initial login, okay, which is very important, right? And it is a security method that protects resources because it's authentication. So it's security method, okay, to protect the resources, okay. That simply means what user can be able to what access. Hope that makes sense. Let's talk about the B part. Biometrics could be used as another method of assessing the secured area. State three examples of biometric methods. Now, for this biometric method, we should we can see this here and also chapter 8. I think okay, it was explained in detail in chapter 8. It was explained in details in chapter 8, but the zero login was introduced in chapter 4. Okay, so I'm just going to go with this. Chapter 8, safety and security. Okay, so let me duplicate this so we can be able to be more effective and faster. So, because I want to show you where you actually find it. I think my okay, I think I'm getting close. Protection of data using biometrics. Okay, good, right here. So we have them here, right? So these are your fingerprint scan, right? Your signature recognition, retina scan, iris recognition, face recognition, voice recognition. So all these are your biometrics techniques. Okay, so you can actually write that here. So examples of the biometric methods. So we have your facial recognition, yes, face recognition, face recognition. We have the voice recognition, voice recognition. We have the iris recognition. Okay, so all this is very important. Question 4. Discuss the positive and negative effects of using microprocessor control devices in autonomous vehicle. And now you will see this, right? You will see this. Now this was for the I think one for my students in Qatar, right? Because of the flood that happened, so they kind of had maybe a kind of special question, okay? Because obviously for this paper, this was the only paper that was assessed for them. I think paper 3 was cancelled. I think paper 2 and paper 3 and paper 1. Okay, so we have chapter 5, the effects, okay, of using IT. Okay, so the positive and negative effect, you see them here. I think I'm closer here already since I'm in chapter 4. So it's easier to just swipe through. Let me just show you. Autonomous vehicles are vehicles. Look at it, right? These are driverless vehicles. That's what we mean by autonomous. That's the first thing. Okay, so they are vehicles that can actually drive on their own. Okay, so here you see that advantages and disadvantages of autonomous what vehicle. Okay, so let's discuss about it. So the whole idea is that these are vehicles that for example, if it senses any form of obstacle, it can park it for you, it can give you signals, it can change gear, etc, etc, etc. Okay, so this is very, very important, and you see this here, right? Because more or less it has a sensor, a cameras, actuators, and the microprocessors. All right. So here, let's talk about the positive, and I'll begin with the positive. How many marks is it? 6 marks, and that's the highest mark for paper 1. Okay. So let's talk about the positive. Positive. Okay. So it keeps driver safe, safer because human error is removed, leading to fewer accidents. Okay. So keeps driver safe because when it senses those objects, it's going to stop. Okay. Okay. It can. I'm just going to go with this. Let me go with this. Right. Safer because human error is removed. That's the positive. Let me put everything together. Safer because human error is removed. Okay. And because of this, leading towards fewer accidents. Leading to fewer accidents. Now, of course, you can make this a 2 points. Okay. So that's also fine. Okay. So the travel becomes safer. Travel becomes safer okay, as the vehicle can what? React faster to what? Situations. Okay. And another one is the fact that it reduces any form of traffic congestion. Okay, because it can find a faster way. Okay, so driving becomes more efficient. Becomes more efficient. Okay, as the vehicle finds the best way, okay, of getting to the location. Okay, so let's talk about the negative. I've talked about 3. Let's talk about the negative. Okay, and the fact here is for the negative, it is very expensive to set up, it is very expensive to maintain. Okay, so it is very expensive to maintain. Okay. Another one is the fact that this is it right here. And this is the fact that okay, the ever-present fear of hacking into the vehicle control system. Okay, so you have to take note of that. Okay, there's that fear. Okay, so hackers, okay, gaining access to the vehicle can what? Control what? Is operation. Okay, which could lead to security problems. All right, so that is that. And again, the drivers must remain alert if needed. Okay, you have to remain alert because again, the system, there could be glitches. Okay, there could be software glitches which could be catastrophic, so the drivers must remain alert. Not just because it's driverless and then you just leave it to the technology. Okay, must remain alert to override. Okay, manually override. When you notice something, you can override the system if needed. That's why you have to be vigilant. Okay, so let me add, I think that's all. This is 1, 2, 3, and this is 1, 2, 3. So this is, I'm just going to put this as order, right? So here they lose the skill or to learn how to drive, which is okay, which is actually this dependence. There's that dependence on this driverless, okay, and of course we also look at the fact that the device could stop working, okay, causing accident. The device could stop working, okay, causing what? Causing what? Accident. Okay, so this is very, very important. All right. Question 5. One of the benefits of a graphical user interface is that it is user friendly. So this is chapter 1. So this is chapter 1. Types and components of what? Computer systems. Okay, and right here we're looking at what? User what? Interface. Okay, the user interface. So now other benefits of the graphical user interface is that it uses, right, a WIMP technology. It uses a WIMP technology. Now look at this right here. So probably I will show you so you can actually see this here, right? Look at it right here. So you see that good. So it makes use of what? One of the common the GUI use various technologies and devices to provide user interface. One of the most common is what? The WIMP technology or systems. Okay, so please take note. So a mix of the WIMP technology, right? You don't have to learn commands, unlike the CLI. Now, if you look at this, you see that for the CLI, which is the command line interface, okay, you have to there are often numbers of commands that needs to be typed in. The user has to learn a number of commands just to carry out operations. Okay, so you don't have to learn. Don't have to learn what? Commands. Okay, and also they are intuitive. Okay, they are intuitive, so it's easy to actually what? Navigate. So you can add this for others. Okay, they are what? Intuitive. Okay, so I have this here. So they're actually what? Intuitive. So let's look at the B part, 5B. State other types of user interface. Now, what we've seen here, you can see that there are other types of what? User interface here. So we have the command line interface, dialogue-based user interface, and then the gesture-based what? User interface. Okay, so I'm going to go with the command line. The command line interface. Okay, and then the gesture-based user interface. Okay, question 6. Question 6A. Discuss the advantages and disadvantages of using web conferencing rather than video conferencing. And this is something you see in chapter 4. Networks and the effects of using them. And you see, this is 6 marks. So let's talk about the advantages. I always like beginning with the advantage. So let's talk about advantage. So advantages. Okay. So let's talk about the advantage. Now, when we talk about the web conference, this is where users they log in using what? Their computer. Yes. They log in what? Using what? Their computers. And look at this. We have to relate it back to the question. They said, okay, discuss the advantages. So let's go ahead. All right. So now, so advantages here is if more or less, let's look at it. Rather than video, one advantage is that it reduces cost. Reduce cost. Okay. As less hardware, okay, is what needed. Unlike the video conferencing, where you have you need to have a webcam, you need to have a microphone, you need to have a speaker in the conference room. But for the web conferencing, you're just having only your computer, okay, only your what? Computer, and there are fewer issues, okay, with lip syncing, because it's not like the mic is here and the webcam is here, all have to be what properly what connected. So it can lead to fewer issues. Okay, with lip sync, okay, or any form of maybe video lag. Although it's there, but not as that as you would have it, um, as you have with video what conferencing. Okay. Now there is more flexibility here for web conferencing, because for web conferencing you can decide to make it an audio conferencing and you can decide to make it a video conferencing. Now let me show you, because so you can actually see this with me. Let me show you from the textbook, chapter 4. So you can actually see this with me and then we can learn together. Please let me know in the comment section if you are learning. Yes, that's the beauty of Ajiro Tech, right? There's always something to learn. We're not just solving a past paper, right? We are learning together. Okay, so you're having fun with it. So right here, web conferencing. So you see that we can also call it a webinar or a webcast. Okay, and of course it is internet. So multiple computers are used with this system. Okay, all connected over the internet. Okay, for different types of meeting. So the only requirement is a computer and a high speed or stable internet connection to carry out web conferencing. Okay, so delegates can leave or join the conferences as they wish. So there is flexibility. Okay, there is flexibility with this method, with this type of electronic conferencing. So there's more flexibility. Okay, for the there's more flexibility as they do not need to be, as they do not need to turn on the cameras. Okay, okay, so there's more flexibility with that, and it can be used on more devices. You can decide to join with this computer and then join with this other computer. Okay, it can be used on more devices. So let's look at the disadvantages. I think I've talked about 4 points. So let me do this. Disadvantages. So here we have requires a stable internet connection. Okay. Another one is it has delegates can leave or join the meeting as they wish. Um, Here we can see that, okay, I think let me go with, there are some disadvantages there for video that I can actually use. Okay, is the fact that, all right, so let me go with this. Since there are more flexibility, we have for the disadvantages here, fewer features than what? The video what? Conferencing. Okay? All right. An organization has decided to use video conferencing for its meeting. State the hardware and software required to set up the video conferencing. Okay, so let's do that. And you see it right here. Let me show you here so you can actually see what are required. These are the software that are needed: webcam and microphone software drivers, codec, which means coder, decoder, compression, decompression. So the first one is to use to encode. The second one is to decode digital data stream to allow that to be transmitted and then play back the code. We have echo cancellation software. We can microphone can pick up sound from speakers, create an echo. And so what this does is to allow talking to take place in real time and permits the synchronization of communication. Here you see those hardwares that are needed to set up your webcam, monitors, microphones, speakers. Okay, now for your internet you need routers. Okay, so how many marks is this? 4 marks. So for hardware, I'm going to go with 3 hardwares and 1 software. Okay, so for hardware, we have monitors. Okay, monitor. We have microphones. Okay, microphone. Speakers. Okay, so for its meetings, okay, let's say microphones, speakers. There are others like your router because you need internet. So very important. Software. You need, let me put this for others. I just want to make everything complete. So you have your routers. Okay, you need your webcam. Okay, which is more or less, or you can see your camera. Okay, now for your software, this is what you need: your webcam and microphone software drivers. So let's just call your software drivers. Software your webcam and microphone software drivers. Okay, the next one is echo cancellation software. Echo cancellation software. So I've given more points here. So this will be others. Okay, so we also have the codecs. Okay, and we've talked about the codecs. I will say it means for coder. So I'll just do that. Coder. Okay, decoder. Or compression or decompression. Coder or decoder, or compression or decompression. Okay, all right, so this is very important. Question 7. A teacher is creating a revision website for her students. The website contains information taken from a number of different sources, including published books. These sources are protected by copyright. State what the teacher needs to do to ensure she does not break copyright laws when she publishes the website. Please take note of that. She's creating a revision website for her student. The website contains information taken from a number of different sources, including published books. These sources are protected by copyright. State what the teacher needs to do to ensure she does not break copyright. You will see this in chapter 9. Let me click. I have A and B, so I wouldn't know. So let me do for A. You see it in chapter 9. Audiences. Okay. So I will show you here so you can actually look at it. Okay, I think I'm close. This chapter 10. Right here. Okay, so they're already right here. Look at it. You see that, right? Software copyright. Okay, so this is very, very important. And we have software piracy. So all these things are very important. So here you see the copyright here, making copies of that, renting out software without permission to do so from the publisher. So the first thing she needs to do is she needs to ask for permission to use the material. Okay, because when you use a software or when you use a published material without copyright, look at it, right? Needs to ensure she do so that state what teacher will need to do to ensure she does not break the copyright law, because she has gotten materials, information from different sources on the website and what she needs to do. So that's very important. So she must ask permission to use the material. Okay, she must, okay, she should also acknowledge the sources, okay, for the material, where she got the material from. Explain the principles of software copyright. So this is also chapter 9. Audiences. So let's explain the principles of software copyright. Okay, so this is the principle here for copyright. Again, make a software copy, then sell it or give away to a friend. So all these are very illegal, right? So the principle of software is you must not sell softwares to other people, right? User must not lend. So users must not sell or lend the software to other people. That's the principle. Go and get them. Okay. User must not plagiarize the software. Very important. Must not modify the software. Okay, see another one. Don't use people's code. Yeah, people are very fond of doing that, right? You rent a software without permission. use the name of the copyright or on that software without agreement to do so, use coding from the copyright software in your own software. Please don't do that. Okay? Must not use coding from the software in your own software. Okay, so very important. Don't install it in a network and let other people access it. Please don't do that. Okay, explain why copyright legislation is needed. Now, this is also chapter 9, so everything here is just chapter 9. Okay, but I wanted to be sure. Okay, so explain why copyright legislation is needed. You see it here. Okay, piracy. Good. Okay, so which is software what? Piracy. Okay, so the whole idea, this is a big issue because the whole idea is to ensure that it prevents theft or any form of what? Intellectual property. It protects copyright of the owners of the software. Okay, very important. Okay, very important. So please let's take note of this. Okay, so why is it needed? Like I said, number one, prevents theft of intellectual materials. And this is not just in books, okay, but also softwares, okay, movies, articles, etc., etc. Okay, so it prevents theft of intellectual properties. Again, it protects the copyright of the owner of the software. It also ensures people are rewarded for their endeavors. It ensures people are rewarded for their endeavors. Okay? Question 8. Artificial intelligence is having an impact on everyday life. Social media are now using AI for many tasks. State what is meant by artificial intelligence. Now, you see this in chapter 1. Okay, so they're all. Okay, so chapter 1. Okay, which is types and components of computer systems. Okay, so let's explain what is meant by AI. And you see this here under what the emergence of what technology, right, which is the last part of chapter 1. Okay, so the first thing we have to look at, it can stimulate human intelligence. That's the first one. It can simulate. It can simulate human what? Intelligence. Okay. Another one is it can learn from previous decisions. It can learn from previous decisions. Okay. So this is very, very important. You can also add maybe just one here. I think I have just one more to just share. Is the fact that it can mimic, it can mimic what? Human problems. Human problem solving, right? Or decision making. Evaluate the impact of artificial intelligence in the use of social media. So let's evaluate the impact of it. Okay. So one of the things I want to talk about now, every social media has AI. Okay. So it's one way I can talk about it. It allows for better content on the sites as it is customized to the user. Okay. So it allows for better content. Okay. On the site as customized to the what? User. Another one, it can recognize, okay, people's faces, okay, in photographs, okay, posted, posted, right? That's very important. It can easily detect, spam when you're sending something over and over again, or inappropriate materials, okay, which makes the social media to be safer. It can target a form of kind of advertisement. That's another one on social media, which allows advertiser to attract more relevant customers. So, if for example you're putting up a sale, it's going to look at people who have made searches relating to that, and it's going to put that on their feeds. Okay, so it targets advertisement, which allows advertisers to what? Attract more relevant customers. Question 9. An expert system can be used in medical diagnosis. An explanation system is a component of an expert system. So this is chapter 6, ICT applications. Okay. And under the ICT application, we have the expert system. Now, for the expert system, we have the user interface. We have the user interface. We have the inference engine. We have the explanation system. We have the knowledge base and rule base. Now, I'm just saying this information off my head. Let me just show you. Let me just show you, please. Like, so you can actually see it, right? Let me say, Mr. Joe, just show us, right? Just show us from the test. Just let's see it, right? Is it really there? Let's see it, please. You see, it's always from the textbook. I will show you 6.8, right? 6.8. Okay, right here. So this is it right here. So you can see the user interface, the inference engine, explanation system, knowledge base, and rule base. So now you make your choice. This is still three other components of the expert system. Okay, so here we have the user interface. Okay, we have knowledge base. Okay, what again? Okay, let me go with rule base. I'm leaving this one out. Okay, rule base, rules, yeah, rules base. Okay, explain what is meant by an explanation system, and it's 2 marks. So now let me show you what it is. Okay, so this informs the user, informs the user of the reasoning behind the what expert system. So informs the user the reasoning behind what the expert system what conclusion. Okay, now another one. Suppose you was investigating a series of symptoms, the patient would then explain the reason with a statement such as impaired vision. Another one is it clarifies the structure. It clarifies the structure of the solution to the problem. Okay? An automatic vacuum cleaner uses sensor to detect obstacles. If the vacuum cleaner is too close to the obstacle, it stops and automatically changes what direction. Describe the drawbacks of using this type of control system. Now you are going to see this. Okay, this is also chapter 6 as well. So ICT application. Okay, ICT application. So here is chapter 5. Okay, the effects of using what? IT. Okay, effects of using what? IT. So describe the job of using this type of control. Okay, it cannot clean the whole room. And you see, this is under the labor saving. Under the labor saving. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, under the labor saving group, automatic or robotic vacuum cleaners. Okay, so number one, it cannot clean the whole room. That's the drawback. It cannot clean the whole room. due to what? Sensing objects. Due to sensing what? Objects. Okay. And another drawback is we become too reliant with this technology. And you will see something here. Okay. It right? They tend to make people what? La- Rather lazy because there is dependence on these devices generally. Okay. So we're not be specific to one of them. So people become reliant. Okay. People become too reliant on the technology. Okay. Another one is the sensors can become obstructed. Okay. By what? Death. So it might not actually be an obstacle, right? But because it's obstructed by death, it will give what? Therefore, giving false what? Readings. Okay. How many marks is this? 4 marks. Okay, let's look for one more that we can add. And because of this, it may not know which part it has cleaned or not. Okay, because it stops working, automatically changes what? Direction. So it might not know, okay, which part it has what? Cleaned or not. Okay. All right, let's look at question 11. Parallel running can be used as a strategy to implement new system. Describe what is meant by parallel running. We're going to see this in chapter 7, the systems life cycle. Okay. Under the system life cycle, we're looking at implementation. Okay, implementation. So let's look at this, what it means by parallel running. This is where the system is, right? Both systems are running together until the new system works properly and the old one is being what? Removed. Okay. So here we see that both systems okay running together until the new system works properly. Okay, and we can see that when the new system works, okay, the old system is what? Removed. So we'll see it here. I think I'm closer here. Okay, good. Yes, this is it right here. Implementation. Good. You can see that the old and new systems are, they run side by side for a time until the new system takes over and the old one is removed. Okay. Describe the benefit and drawbacks of using parallel running. So this is also chapter 7. The system's life cycle. Okay, which is also in the implementation here. So let's talk about the benefit. How many marks is this? 5 mark. So let's talk about the benefit. So here we have, right, it is possible to gradually train staffs. So in this, training is what? Gradual. Training is what? Gradual. Okay. What again? We can see that if the new system fails, the old system is still available as backup. If the new system fails, the old system is available as what? As a backup. As a backup. Okay. What again? Okay, so now let's look at the drawbacks. It is also possible. Okay, it is also possible since both systems are running together. Okay, new system can actually be tested with live data. That's also a good one, right? So new systems, because both systems are actually being run together, so new systems can easily be tested with what? Live data. Okay, and when we talk about live data, these are data that are imputed by the user making use of the system. Okay, drawbacks. Let's look at drawbacks. So here we see that it is more expensive as extra staffs are needed to run both systems together. Expensive as two set of staffs are needed to run both systems. Okay, here we look at it is more time consuming. Okay, it is more time consuming, so more time consuming to enter data into two systems. Okay, so this is very, very important. Okay, how many have I mentioned here? So this is 3, 5. Okay, let me just add, let's see if I can add one more. Okay, there will be duplication of data entry. Okay, there will be duplication because we are entering, so there will be duplications. Duplications of data entry which can cause differences in the output of the two systems. Okay? One of the risks when entering a password into a computer system is key logging. Explain what is meant by key logging. Now, this you're going to see this in chapter 8. Under data threat. Okay, good. Under data threat, good. And also, I think you also see this in chapter 4. I think also chapter 4, but I want to be sure. Yes, I think chapter 4 for other authentication method. Let me see. So I want to find it where you actually see. Yes, here, chapter 8. But although in chapter 4, we can still talk about it, right? We're talking about other ones as well, but basically for data threats, the key logging software is for chapter 8. So yes, chapter 8. Okay. So they are part of malware. Okay, the keyloggers, we call them keyloggers rather, right? Talking about the keylogging, so we call them keyloggers. They're part of malware. Okay, so it is a form of spyware. So what the keylogger does is gather information by monitoring a user keyboard activity carried out on their computer, and it will send it back to what the creator. So it's going to monitor all activities that is carried out on a user's what keyboard activities. Okay, so the software stores the keystrokes in small files, which is automatically emailed to the cyber criminal responsible for the software. Okay, so number one, it is what a software device. Okay, it's a software device, and it gains fraudulent access to passwords or confidential information. So let's look at the first one, right? So it can gain fraudulent access to passwords, okay, or even confidential information. Another one is it records. Look at it right here. You see that what happens? It stores keystrokes in a small file. So it records, okay, to what? The cyber criminal response for the software. Cyber responsible for the software. Every keystroke on your keyboard and stores them in a small file. In a small file. Okay? In a small file. So this is chapter 8, safety and security. Okay, give two security improvement that could be made to prevent keylogging. Okay, so what are the ways we can actually do to prevent it? Now, there's always can be detected and removed by anti-spyware softwares. Okay, so you can use drop down boxes. Okay, you can do on screen using a mouse. Okay, so all these are ways we can actually do that, right? So the first one we can do to security improvement is to install anti-spyware, right? Software. So install anti-spyware software. Okay, let's see. Okay, please you can also update the computer system regularly. Regularly, very important. Okay, so do that. All right. A shopkeeper. So this is also chapter 8. Safety and security. A shopkeeper sells food and has created a table containing the name of food, its barcode number, and the image of the barcode. Type of fruit, part of the table is shown. So we have type of fruit, barcode number, the barcode. Okay. So we have apple Fuji, apple Jonah Gold, apricot. State and describe two validation checks that could be used for the barcode. Okay. So this is going to be chapter 7. The systems life cycle. And we're looking at the design phase here. Okay. Also, when it comes to barcode, there's something in chapter 6 in ICT application, I think for banking, I think for retails, that you can actually see in detail the function of the check digit. Because when it comes to barcode, I think, okay, I'm even right here. So let me just show you for check digits. It's right here. Yes, validation routines. You can see where there are what extra digit added to a number which can be calculated. So we use extra digit here for barcode. State and describe two variables that could be used for the barcode. So the first one that will state, how many marks is this? 4 marks. So I have check digits. Okay, and we see that here that an extra digit added to a number which has been calculated from what other digit. So for check digit is an added digit an extra sorry an extra added digit an extra digit added to a number. which has been calculated. Has been calculated from the other digits. From the other digits. Okay. So the whole idea is that it ensures the rest of the number is correct. Okay. And you see that there. It ensures don't look at it. The extra that is added, extra digit that is added to a number which is calculated from the other digits. So it ensures, okay, that the numbers, the rest of the numbers is what? Correct. Let's see. How many numbers do we have there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So we have length. So we have what? The length check, and it checks. So this word length checks to see if the data input contains only the required number of character. Checks that there are only what? 12 characters. 12 digits. Okay. We can also use present check. Okay. Yeah. Present check is always going to be one, right? That is everywhere. So present check. And if you look at the present check here, it ensures that what? That the data has been entered into a field and it is not left what? Empty. Okay. So the whole idea here is that it checks that the number exists is that the number what exists. That is not a null value. Hope that makes sense. Not a null value. Okay. Describe the advantages. Describe the advantages and disadvantages of entering the data by scanning the barcode rather than typing in the number. Okay. So this is chapter 2, input and output devices. Okay. So let's talk about the advantages. So here you have a faster data entry because this one falls under what we call the DDE. Now, if you're wondering what DDE means, this means direct data what? Entry. Okay. So here you have what? A faster data what? Entry. Okay. And fewer data entry errors. Unlike when you are typing. Now imagine if you are typing all this. Okay. So if you go to even the shops, what you see mostly is that they will just scan it, bam, and it will bring out the name of the item and the amount. Okay, the name of the item and the amount. So fewer data entry what errors are made. Okay. So let's look at disadvantages. It's formats. Let's look at disadvantages. So here you could see that more reliant There's more reliant on on the technology. And of course, if the barcode, and most time it happens when you go to the supermarket and you want to scan for an item, when you put the barcode, you find out that it's not scanning. Most time you have to, they may have to do it manually. Okay, so if the barcode is incorrect, the scanner would not know whether would not know. Okay, whereas a human could see the difference. Do you understand? Okay. Let's put for, let me see if I can get others. Extra hardware is required, unlike typing. Just type normally, but for the, you have to actually buy the barcode reader. Okay, so that means extra hardware is required. Okay, increasing cost. Okay, the scanner could actually misread the barcode. Okay, so of course, what happens if the barcode is damaged? Right, that's another one. If the barcode is damaged, okay, then the data may not read properly, and which is a problem. Okay, so this is very important. Which is very, very what important. And now, CPAT, a barcode reader, is an example of a direct data entry device. Okay, so now we are to state other examples of direct data entry devices. Okay, we have them here. Permit me to open this for you. Let me open this for you. Okay, so we have them here. This is inputs, and after this, yes. So we have, the first one we have is the magnetic stripe readers, the card readers really. Okay, you can just put card readers to cover them, or chip and pin readers. We have radio frequency identification readers. So let me go with that. Radio frequency identification. Okay, which is the what? Your RFID reader. What other one here? Let's look at it together. We have the optical mark recognition. This read marks. Optical is always important to recognition, to write them in full, which is what we call our OMR. So let's put reader. Okay. Then the next one is, we have the optical character recognition. Now this one converts text on hard copy, okay, into electronic form. So we have the optical character recognition, which is what OCR. Okay, and we have other ones. Okay, we have the barcode like we talked about, the QR codes like we talked about. Okay, and you see we also have your card readers, your contactless. Okay, so we have the radio frequency identification reader, optical mark recognition reader, optical character recognition readers as well, and the card readers, um, your barcodes, etc., etc. Okay, if you have not subscribed to this YouTube channel, I don't know what you are waiting for, really, because trust me, this YouTube channel is loaded with not just paper one, paper two, and other subjects as well. It is a safe haven for students to come in to study, listening to study vibes as you concentrate in your study. It is the whole package. Okay, and if you've not enrolled into the Ajiro Tech tutoring service, it is you literally missing, because the Ajiro Tech tutoring service is an epic experience, an awesome experience for students. For the May June 2024, we had 100% across, right? Our threshold is usually A star to E. So we had like barely a 98 because we had some students who had a B. Okay, so it is an awesome experience. You cannot afford not to join the Ajiro Tech tutoring service. You can send us an email for inquiries on that to join it, not just for ICT or information IT, but for other subjects as well. Trust me, every student who has been on board, they have testimonies to share. Okay, so subscribe, and if you have not subscribed, so that's the number one assignment. So subscribe to this YouTube channel. Okay, have you done that? All right. So final question, question 14. The features of emails include carbon copy and blind carbon copy. You will see this in chapter 10. Communication. Okay. So, okay, states 3 other features of emails. Okay, so what are the features of emails? So one of the features of email is attachments, and we have them here. Please permit me to open it for you. As we're about to wrap up this section, so you can actually see it. Let me show you here. Okay, let me move down here so you can actually see it. Okay, where is it? Where is it? Good, right here. Okay, so other email operations, we have the carbon copies, blind carbon copies. We also have forward. Okay, we have forward. Okay, so we have forward. So we can have automatic replies to messages. So we have forward. That's the first one. Forward. We also have attachments. Okay, now the table gave us 4. They have taken 2. Okay, so when you are looking at a typical email, okay, this is very important. Okay, you will see that this we have what we call auto reply. Okay, we can add auto reply. Okay, we have facilities to group emails. Okay, so that's important. Signatures can also be attached. Okay, so this is very important. So auto reply. Right, which is we call them automatic reply to what messages. Describe what is meant by blind carbon copy, and let me explain what this means. Now, what the blind carbon copy means is this. Okay, now when sending an email to many recipients, okay, the blind carbon copy here simply means that it is invisible to everyone receiving the email apart from the BBC recipient. So you don't see other people that is being copied into the mail. It is a blind. You don't see other people. But for the carbon copy, you are able to see other people who are also receiving this email. Do you understand? Okay. Okay, so here you see that it allows the user to send a message privately to some of the recipients. Another one is any recipients okay, any recipients on the BBC line of an email are not visible to what other what recipients of the what email. Okay, so this is very, very important. All right, so this is okay, so we've come to the end of this paper. Okay, so hope you had an awesome time learning from me, and please do well to share this YouTube channel to your friends, to your classmates, so that they can also learn along with you. You can put just send a link to them in their group studies, your personal studies, and so you guys can learn in your classrooms, in your homes, and you can have an awesome experience. Thank you very much. Hope you subscribe to this YouTube channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.